We're taking a lesson from musical legend Guy Lombardo and the Royal Canadians, who delivered the 1949 song, "Enjoy Yourself, It's Later Than You Think." When it comes to retirement, it's never too early to get the ball rolling to ensure you're preparing for the tail end of your career. With that in mind, we caught up with UNL adjunct professor of financial planning Doug Nelson at this year's Women in Ag event to hear his strategies on retiring without selling the farm. Market Journal's Bill Dodd brings us this story.
One thing my father always told me was to make good financial decisions early in life, because you can't buy back your 20s. The older I get, the more I realize just how right he was. If you happen to be moving into the proverbial fourth quarter of your career, the option of investing in a retirement account could prove to have some beneficial tax incentives.
I think one of the things we think about retirement plans as putting some money away as an investment for retirement. I think one of the things that gets overlooked is the tax savings advantages of using retirement plans. Obviously, farmers and ranchers like to depreciate, but their accountants will say, okay, this combine or this implement you can depreciate over time, but that's not something you can just liquidate and go to Jamaica for the winter. You don't have to shovel snow. So it's important, by putting money into a retirement plan, you can actually lower your taxable income for you, and if your spouse is involved, for your spouse. Another option is many farmers and ranchers themselves or their spouse work for a company or an institution like a school or a county that may have a retirement plan. And if they look forward and project their taxes, they can lower their adjusted gross income by that person putting more money into their own retirement plan. That way you don't have to set anything up. It's already set up. Just use the 403B as a teacher. Use the 457 as a county employee. And that will lower your income for what you have to put to Uncle Sam.
While some people may find themselves in a land-rich, cash-poor scenario when it comes time to retire, holding on to your land could be more beneficial than selling outright. Holding on to that property could help you avoid paying some hefty taxes on any land sales.
And so far it's going up in value. There's a lot of appreciated value in there. The problem gets to be, how do you use that without incurring taxes? Because if you sell that land, most of it's going to have a cost basis, and that you got to pay taxes on that. For an example, my father bought land in northern Kansas with his money that he saved during World War II as a B-17 tail gunner, and he bought that land in 1946, and he still has that land. Some of it he paid, hardly anything for it, and his nephews farmed the land and would like to buy the land eventually. But if he sold it to them now, the capital gains on that land is prohibitive. He's 98 years old. He just said, I'll just go ahead, and when I pass away, they'll get a stepped up tax basis. We sell that land, the estate can sell it, and we avoid the taxes at that point.
When it comes to money, most people want to have access, safety, and growth. However, Doug points out when it comes to your retirement plan, at most, you can have two of those three options without losing too much ground.
So your money is like a restaurant with a sign. And I stole this from a guy named Bob Goodman years ago. And the restaurant sign says, great food, great service, great price. You can have 2 out of 3. Because how often do you get all 3? So with your money, you want safety, you want access, and obviously you want growth. You can't get all 3. If you want growth, you got to give up access. You got to say, all right, I'm going to keep it there and get through the COVID crisis, get through the Ukraine crisis, and it will recover over time. There's been 13 bear markets since World War II. A bear market means there's a 20% drop in the market off the high. 13 of them since World War II. The average one is 35% drop. Okay? The length of the average one is 18 months. So in spite of that, the market has done a 10% return, more or less, since that time, since World War II. The average investor has got about a 4% return because they panic when the market goes down, when there's a crisis. They jump out, and they miss it when it comes back up. And they get giddy when it's up. When it's up, they buy more. But they're buying high and selling low. Just stay in it, dollar cost average, it'll work out.
When it comes to the topic of retirement, it makes sense to start saving while you're young. However, if you've come to the point where retirement is right around the corner, finding ways to reduce taxes on your income and retirement will be critical when it comes time to enjoy yourself. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Bill Dodd.